McLaren have taken the covers off their new car, the MCL35M, showing off their new Mercedes-powered Challenger for 2021. I'm Thomas Marr. Be sure to like and subscribe for the very latest Formula 1 news. McLaren have become the first team in Formula 1 to show off their new car and their new driver lineup for 2021, holding a live event globally online through their social media channels. McLaren introduced new signing Daniel Ricciardo alongside Lando Norris as the British driver is going into his third season with the Woking team. 2020 was McLaren's best result in Formula 1 in 8 years, as their continued resurgence saw multiple podiums and points finishes. While the technical regulations remain largely the same for 2021, there has been sufficient evolution of the regulations to require the teams to alter their cars for this year. This particularly applies to McLaren, as they've had to integrate a new power unit as the team switch from Renault to Mercedes power. The team left Merc behind in 2014, having won their most recent championships with German power back in 2008 with Lewis Hamilton, but disappointing years with Honda power resulted in McLaren switching to Renault, which sparked the start of the team's resurgence. They then decided to swap back to Mercedes for 2021. The Mercedes-AMG M12 E-Performance has had to be integrated into the design of the new McLaren. This was done with the support of Mercedes high-performance powertrains and is one of the major changes to the car as part of the evolution into the MCL35M. Speaking about the updated car, Technical Director James Key said, "Despite relatively stable technical regulations, there were several significant aerodynamic changes that are important to get right.
We had a lot of work to do with our colleagues at Mercedes to begin the process in around about June. We had to do it all from home, of course, so we were designing over the phone and emails and video conferences, which is a very different situation to learn to be in. When you do that, you've got to make sure you've got the IT infrastructure to allow that to happen as well. So it's a huge challenge to get to that point. Yeah, so I think the difficulties or challenges, let's say, in installing a Mercedes power unit. The things I've said, the COVID situation, the working from home, the regulation changes. We also had cars homologated, which meant that it was quite a different way of installing an engine because we had to try and stay true to last year's car. But clearly with an awful lot of the car having to change for the engine. So it was a slight compromise in that respect, and you had to try and take as many surfaces and designs that were homologated on the chassis, on the gearbox and so on, but adapt the areas which needed adapting to the engine. Slightly suboptimal in a way, but we had some sensible conversations with the FIA as we worked through that. So that was an additional challenge. But I think any power unit installation is a challenge because there's no one way of doing these things. They're so complicated that, unlike the V8s years back when they're all quite similar, these are quite unique from one power unit supplier to another. So we had things like cooling systems are very different between one and another. I've worked with all the power units now, and I know that for a fact. The architecture of the power units is different. The energy store shapes and volumes and positioning and connection even to the engine is different, and so you have to work through all of that installation from a physical point of view. But then you've got things like electronics and software. You've got the load cases going through your drivetrain, which could be different from one engine to another. And all of those challenges had to be faced in this shortened time period whilst working from home to try and come out with something that was digitally good, but clearly in reality needed to be proven. And we managed it. It was a massive effort from the team. It was great support from Mercedes, and to get to the point of actually installing everything and running it for real was a really fantastic achievement, I think.
It's difficult to spot with the naked eye as well, but the livery of the 2021 car has also seen some evolution from last year's car. The MCL35M hits the track on Tuesday at Silverstone, with Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo both taking part in the team's pre-season filming day. Teams are permitted 2 such filming days over the course of the year. The team will then travel to Bahrain for official pre-season testing. This gets underway on March 12th. So what do you think of the new 2021 McLaren Mercedes MCL35M? Let me know in the comments below. That's it from me for the moment. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at Thomas Marr on F1.